Hey, we back. I'm here with Notbot, and once again we are going over the quote-unquote new update. It's really not new anymore, but I've been doing videos on other bots, so I'll get to it eventually. I'm aware that there aren't too many people on the channel that are concerned with Notbot, so I've been pushing it back, you could say, and doing the other bots first. But we're here now, and we're talking about the market today, which is the second part of the update. The third part will be dungeons, which we'll get to next. So the market is a place where you can buy and sell items which are needed to create blueprints, which are needed for the artifacts, which is what we went over last time. So if I put the market command in here, as you can see, well, it's going to tell us that we have no results found for our query, but the point is there is a market. I assume at the moment there's nothing on the market, which is why you can see nothing. Notbot being a pretty small bot, there's not going to be too much on here if you compare it to something like the Pokecord market, where there's loads of Pokemon being sold all the time. In theory, if Notbot grows, I'm sure more people will sell stuff on here. But for now, it's just empty. And the point of this, like I said, is to buy and sell items. Now, if we have a look in the shop, we can see the natural prices of these items anyway. At the moment, we've got rocks, glass, dolomite, needle, and garnets. I'm pretty sure this shop is different for everyone. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it's different for everyone. And it's just going to come up with reasonably random items, quantities and prices that you can buy for every, day or so, I think, maybe week. And then you can buy these for a pretty large sum of knots. You can also get these items by random chance while you're hunting and battling and whatever. So if I check my inventory, I think there we go, I've got a few items there that I can use to craft blueprints if I want. I don't know if any of those are particularly useful items, to be perfectly honest, but I'm sure some of them are perfectly useful. So, as an example, to demonstrate this market, I'm going to put up some of my items. I'm going to sell, let's start with one of these wools. Now, the wool is a common item, which means it's worth about 500 each. You can see just like the rock here, which is worth about 500 each. Now, I personally think that buying something on the market is probably better than buying it on the shop, because of course on the market you get to choose exactly what you want when you want it, and you might get to buy only one of them instead of 3 that you have to buy on here, and so on and so forth. Whereas the shop, it's random every time. So I'm going to sell my wool for actually a little bit higher than the shop is worth, and see if anyone takes it. A bit of a social experiment while we're at it. Of course, they won't be buying it during the course of this video, because I'm going to end the video and probably be a good few hours or days before it gets bought. But that's the theory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put sell. We're going to put the wool's ID, which is 1003. I'm just going to be selling the one wool for now, because again, that makes it a little better than the shop. And I'm going to sell it for 600. That's the order that you need to put the items in. So I'm going to send that command. It's going to ask me to confirm the sale. I'm not sure I want to sell one wool for 600 knots. Other players will be able to bid on the item. The highest bidder will receive it automatically. After 1 week, you will get the amount of knots they bid. If no one bids on your item, you get it back after a week. So, this works fine. And let's see if anyone does feel like having my wool. I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. So there we go. My item has been successfully placed on the market. And if we check market now, you can see that the wool is there. This is query result ID 8. So I assume it's the 8th thing that's been sold since the update, something like that. I don't know. We've got the wool, amount 1, and total price 600 knots. It doesn't say that it was me that actually sold it, I guess, which is fair enough. Yeah, it doesn't say, but it just says what the initial sell price is, what the current bid is, what your bid is, when it ends, all the rest of it. So yes, I will probably do a little experimenting in my own time to see what kind of prices people are willing to pay for stuff. I suspect it will be slightly higher than the market, the regular shop costs, because you can buy exactly what you want instead of having to wait for the randomizer on the market. In theory, I could have a huge quantity of items that I've put up on auction and just be selling them at all times, and then people can go onto the market and buy whatever item they want from me, instead of having to rely on the whims of the shop to give them the random items that they need. But of course, then they have to pay a little extra for that privilege. That's what I'm thinking anyway, but we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure you can have multiple auctions up at once, so to test that theory, we're going to sell something else. This time I'll sell one of my amethysts. The amethyst, it seems, is an uncommon one, which is worth 2,050, so I'll sell one of them and I'll put it up at the price of 2,000, let's say 700. Again, just going a little bit above the shop value. And there we go. Let's sell the amethyst. Yep, there we go. So now I have two things on the market. So I could sell all of my stuff on here individually if I wanted, a little bit higher than market, and see if people want them. I might even do that, but again, I'll do that in my own time if I'm going to. And of course, if you want to go onto Lotbot and buy my items in the next week, you're welcome to do so. That's about all I've got for you today, really. Market, pretty simple place. If you want to get some blueprints. If you're wondering how to check the blueprints, because I guess I didn't really mention that, we can just have a look like this, and it's going to tell you, for example, if I want to make over the blueprint, what items I need. For example, 5 wool, one of which I just sold, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you are actually planning on getting and using an artifact, you're going to need to finish off the blueprint. It's going to take probably a good while to get all the items required, given that the market doesn't have too much on it currently, and the shop, like I said, is completely random on what it sells. It's also going to cost you a lot of knots to actually get that. So it's a lot of effort, but the artifacts in some cases, like in Ava's, are pretty good, so potentially worth it. Of course, this is all up to you. You don't have to use the market at all if you don't want. But another thing to consider is that, assuming that people will buy stuff off the market for a slightly higher price, you can potentially buy stuff on the shop and then sell it on market for a bit of a profit, which sounds fun to me. But that, again, relies on people actually buying stuff on the market. What I'll probably do is continually sell my stuff on the market at a higher price than shop value, and then if it sells, it sells, and if not, my amount of items that I have on the market steadily rises until I do in fact have every item available on the market, which will be pretty epic. But of course this is going to take a while because items are pretty rare to get. Anyway, that's my plan. You do whatever you want, and I'm leaving this one here. Bye!